Traditions change with the times, and with technology, the way we create music has moved into the world of virtual instruments. It's time to bring our traditions into the modern-day workflow. Tejano Keyboard presents the Music Creator Library, a sample library of all the classic and hard-to-find keyboard sounds, patches, and layers from your favorite Tejano recordings of the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and today. The Tejano Keyboard Music Creator Library is an all-in-one music creation tool, including long-sampled German and Italian accordions, live brass and woodwind instruments, basses, guitars, bajo sextos, and drum loops in the styles of the most prolific drummers and styles in Tejano music history. The Music Creator Library is compatible with virtually any digital audio workstation. Whether you're a keyboardist looking to expand your sound collection, an inspiring producer, or an arranger trying to get your ideas down, the Tejano Keyboard Music Creator Library has you covered and is exclusively available at www.tejanokeyboard.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's been a very long time. It's been since last year since we've been live here on TejanoKeyboard.com, live on YouTube. That's me, Rolando Revilla Jr. from TejanoKeyboard.com. I want to thank everybody who's been keeping up to date with everything that we've been doing with Tejano Keyboard. As you guys saw in the intro, we're still doing the whole Tejano Keyboard Music Creator Library, and that's been really awesome. A lot of industry insiders are using it, and we can't really name drop a lot of them because they still are, kind of figuring things out and trying to do that. But one of them for sure, and we've been meaning to put up one of the videos, is Mr. Rick Fuentes, who has been using it on his productions, and of course Miguel Ortega from Stampede. So there's a lot of musicians that are seasoned veterans and people within the industry that have names that are actually using the product, and so we are very humbly thankful that they are seeing the vision and all that great stuff. So I encourage you guys to listen to the demos again if you guys get a chance. If you guys want more information, be sure to check out all the stuff on TejanoKeyboard.com. Our last interview was with Sinue Alsenak, and that was cool. He was kind of like our season finale this year. COVID starting to kind of like se está aplacando la cosa, right? And so what's happening is that I am busy. I've been super busy, and so I haven't really been doing too many of these. And this year we probably won't do as many as we did last year. I think we're aiming for doing maybe once a month, and we were planning on starting this back in February. But we'll talk more about that with our guests. Today we have a legend in our onda, one of my favorite keyboardists of all time, of course, Mr. Julian Carrillo. How you doing there, Mr. Julian?
Hi, Roland. How are you, brother? It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you, too. Okay. And so for those of you... I'm sorry, what was that?
Shout out to all my friends out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you have a lot of them. So I want, in case people aren't aware, currently Mr. Carrillo, Julian, is playing with the legendary Latin Breed, and we'll talk a little bit about his career and where he started and how he got to here. And but I did want to kind of start off real quick by mentioning that since last year we've been in talks. Julian and I, we traded information. I left a message with the Latin Breed and saying, hey, I would really like Mr. Carrillo to be on our show. And we ended the season last year, our first season, and then one thing happened and then another thing happened, and he's like, hey, I want to be on your show. I said, I promise you, when I do my first show of 2021, that you will be the first guest. And here we are. I told him, well, we'll try in January. And then it's like, well, maybe February. and then months and months happened, but here we are. So I want to thank you very much for making time to be here with us. So Julian, tell us a little bit about tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've done in the past and where you're at today. I know that's kind of like a loaded question. It's kind of like, tell us everything, right? But I mean, there's no other way than this way to break the ice, I guess, right?
Yes, sir. Well, I guess I can blame it on the Beatles. That's why I'm a musician, man. Because I was in the 4th grade. I remember you in some interviews that you started playing music like when you were in the 4th grade and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, playing recorders or in band or playing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and I wanted to be a drummer, so I actually started playing drums, with a Tejano,
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, the keyboard was just out of curiosity because there were a couple of guys that were playing the organ, and they'd switch because they were also the vocalists of the band. And so one day I asked, his name was Tony Hernandez, and I said, well, how do you know to play that note and that note and that? He goes, well, it's, primera, segunda, tercera, and la cuarta, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I said, oh, okay. So then I'd go to every note, and there I am trying to find the harmony to it. So I memorized all the 12, notes, and then he says, hey man, play the organ. You already know how to play it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. and really, and then, well, I mean, then you just, your ear, you just start picking up on it. And that's how that was back in I was 14 when I picked up the keyboard, 68. Yeah. So I've been still trying to play it for the last 53 years.
Well, that's awesome.
But, yeah. So, and I've played, with a local band. We were first called the Los Green Lights. And then it was changed to Tony Hernandez and the Latin Liners. There's some recordings out there from that band on YouTube as well. And then, from the Latin Liners, I got in with the Broken Hearts. That's what compadre Speedy broke away from them, and he was the first keyboard player to play with Latin Breed. That was in '69, last of '69. And then the Broken Hearts, we started helping out Roy Montelongo, and then so Broken Hearts fizzled out, and I stayed with Roy. I turned 16. That was in '70, and Carlos Miranda teamed up with Roy that same year, and so I played that summer with Roy, and then the later part of '70, I got out and joined Carlos Miranda. Yeah, and then I got in with the Latin Liners after that, Tony Hernandez and the Latin Liners, '71. And then in '73, we formed a band called La Compañía de Tony Hernandez,
Yep.
Hernandez. And then that was short-lived for a year. And then '74, that's when I joined Latin Breed in May. And played with Latin Breed for 4 years. And then that's when me and Adalberto got out of Latin Breed and started a band, and we only lasted about 6 months. Then he left back to Tucson that later part of '78. And then '79, we formed a local band here in Seguin called Tiempo, and that's when I was telling you about that David de la Garza, that plays with La Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
His dad and I and other local musicians that been playing, with other name bands as well, started that. And then after Tiempo, I left to Tempo for a few years, because that's when Joel Guzman had quit Joe, summer of '83. And I played with Joe for a year. And then in '84, Johnny quit Joe after all them years. And we started Third Coast. And then compadre Hugo Guerrero, that's when I met him too, We teamed up with Johnny for It was short lived también from 84. No, actually, uh, yeah, 84. And we stopped at the end of 85 when 86 came in, New Year's Eve of 86, or 85 rather. That was our last gig, and we played with Joe in San Antonio.
Mhm.
And and then the beginning of 86, I got in with David Mattis and played for, shoot, what, 8 years with David from 86 through 94.
Wow.
And then, yeah, and then in 94, I got out of David, played with Joe Posada for about 3 months maybe. And then I got in with David Lee in 94.
Oh,
And that
wow.
was short lived too. Because they had a policy, hey, you can't show up to the gig drunk. If you show up 3 times drunk, you're fired. And I did it, man. Anyway, that led for me to sober after the fact,
Hmm.
And thank God, man, because this coming summer will be 26 years I've been sober. I always tell the guys, it's crazy, man. It's already 26 years, and just like in the blink of an eye, man. It's
Hmm.
pretty mind-boggling, but time just keeps on trucking.
Como dice
But
la
yeah,
canción, como dice la canción, ¿cómo han pasado los años? Yeah.
really, man. But that's pretty much it. And now I'm back. I've been playing with the Breed for let me see. I guess I teamed up with the Breed back in 2005. I guess so. Yeah, man. It's that's been what, 16 years already.
Hmm. I think the first time that I saw you live, I saw you, and maybe I was mistaken, but had to have been around that time. My wife and I went. We were on the hunt to go see Los Dudes because I think they were doing like a reunion of some kind around fanfare of maybe 2006 or something like that, or yeah, it had to have been 2006. But nonetheless, we were trying to find where Reveles and Anthony were, and we couldn't find them. So we ended up at this place, and I don't even remember what it was called, but I believe that the band was called the Latin something. It was either Latin Legends or yeah,
With
and
Roger.
yeah, Roger was playing guitar, and they had Solis on
yeah,
drums, and I think you were playing
right.
keyboards. But yeah,
Hmm.
my wife and I were there. That was one of the yeah, that was one of our
I,
first like trips that we made together as boyfriend and girlfriend and stuff. But yeah, that was.
did I meet you though that night?
I don't think
Did
so.
we?
I no.
No.
We at that time we were just kind of like, young and bar hopping, and whatever. So, no, I think we enjoyed the music. It was really good. We were there for a little while, but maybe we either caught you guys like between,
Mhm.
or like you had just gotten off a break and started playing, and then we left before the break, or I don't remember how exactly it was, but I didn't really get a chance to
Yeah,
talk to the
yeah.
band. That wasn't really our
There were
main
no horn
focus.
players, were there?
I'm
You
trying to
were there.
remember. I'm trying to think if there was or not. I'm thinking that maybe there wasn't. I don't remember.
Maybe.
Maybe one or two if there was.
Yeah, or maybe it was just because I remember when I was playing with Roger back then, it was just the keyboard. Now
Hmm.
that I'm remembering, and we'd get an accordion player sometimes, but maybe even then, I don't know. Maybe we didn't even have one, but he would use an accordion player back then as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah, I think that was so. That's what. So my memory is serving me okay. We did. I did see you. We might have met. We might have met like just briefly, like, oh hi, you guys sound great or something like that. But I mean, we're talking about what 2006, like 15 years ago. 15 years ago, is that right?
Yeah, at least. Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah,
time is
yeah.
flying by, man.
I'm telling you, man, it's
Yeah, I
crazy. It's
know.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. But
This is
no, it was great music, and like I said, I've been a big fan of the things that you do. If from harmonic standpoint too. You know what I mean? When we've talked on the phone prior to this interview, one thing that we kind of talked about quite a bit was harmony and you know, and its implications in Tejano music and jazz and all that stuff. So what got you into that sort of into that jazz harmony? What kind of what made you
Well, it was, you know, back, you know, in the 70s, Chicago and Blood, Sweat, and Tears, you know,
mm-hmm,
especially Blood, Sweat, and Tears had a bunch of jazz, you know,
mm-hmm.
like on, what was that song? Ba-da-ba, da-da. God Bless the Child.
I'm not really
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. It might you might I'm pretty yeah, you're probably gonna
Yeah,
know more about that than
he
I
used to
am.
go like, let go, let go.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, and then it had a part ba 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 da to a bridge, and then it would go into a jazz feel, and the trumpet player, man, I mean, and like we're like, wow, yeah, man. So, and we were like, what? I was 16 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, then later on we'd go to play in Chicago, and we'd go to the music store and buy jazz albums. I remember compadre Steve, the guitar player, he'd buy a bunch of stuff from Herbie Hancock and
Oh yeah.
Wes Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, man! And so we would just burn that stuff up on a record player,
Oh yeah.
you know.
A lot of bebop chops right there, man.
So that, I mean, that's where it all stemmed from, you know, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Then well, Chicago had a lot of great arrangements too, man. Back
Oh
then, you know,
yeah.
really.
25 or
Yeah.
6 to 4, it was just like the harmony at the beginning of the bum, 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 you know,
Yeah.
that's just it was crazy. Like nobody had ever really heard anything like that. And then like it definitely had its roots. It felt like jazz, right? But it was definitely, they were a rock band, you know what I mean? Distorted guitars and drums, and kind of like they didn't, I mean, they could swing if they wanted to. But a lot of times it was just a straight 4/4, you know, or 440 rather, excuse me, 4/4 time, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. We got a shout out here. It says, "Hi Rolando and Julian. This is Hector Gutierrez,
Oh wow, yeah.
a fellow ivory tickler, a very good one, who also was there with David Lee around that time that you were there, right?"
Yeah.
Maybe beforehand or something like that. Yeah. Also, it says good evening. That's from John Ortiz out in the West Michigan area. I think Holland or out that way, Grand Rapids, Fenville, somewhere over there. But yeah, John Ortiz, thank you very much for joining us here. If you guys have any questions for Julian or for myself, be sure to put them in the chat there, and we'll try to get to it. You know, as they come in. So yeah, we were talking about a jazz harmony and stuff like that. Wes Montgomery and Herbie Hancock. Yep. Personally, I mean, I've always been a big fan of harmony, but I think because my struggles were always in like improvising, that I try to listen to more horn players that would take the concept of harmony and try to figure out how to make different solos. You know, of course, we've been talking about giant steps, so there's John Coltrane, but I think my biggest, at least, you know, and not to hijack the the interview, but one person that I used to like to listen to a lot, and I still do, is Charlie Parker, because Charlie Parker had some crazy lines. You know, they were just they're crazy good, and just to think that he died at like 35. So in like 3 decades, man, he was able to like change the history of music, and you know, and he thought of music on a much higher level. Like, and I shouldn't say music, harmony. He thought of harmony on a completely different level, where he was able to come out with these really fluid lines, and it sounded effortless. You know what I mean? But of course, like with anything else, it takes practice, right?
Big time, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you were saying that you studied some of those jazz standards too, like giant steps. And what are some of your other favorite jazz standards that you kind of mess with.
Chick Corea is another
Oh
one, man.
yeah,
That
may he rest in peace, man. He's
yeah, he just passed away, man. Hijo.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I learned that solo of Spain, man, note per note,
Mm-hmm.
back in 44 years ago.
Yeah.
That was rough because, like I was telling you earlier, that well, back then, I put the album at 33, right?
Mm-hmm.
On 16,
Mm-hmm.
and man, the notes were like, oh, real deep. That was rough, man. But I was determined to learn it, and it took me 2 days. I would start like 10 o'clock in the morning and finish at 10 at night. 12 hours. I did it twice,
Mm-hmm.
and then there you go, trying to learn it on the regular speed. That was another.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But
Yeah.
I said to myself, I got to learn it before I die.
And
It's been 44 years.
yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is that we have it so much easier nowadays with technology. Like you can actually slow things down and keep it in the same pitch, and you can do variable speeds and percentages. Now even like in YouTube, on YouTube, there's the little cogwheel down at the bottom. You can say play it at 3/4 speed, half speed, or whatever. You can even put it in like I want it to be 23.75 percent of the speed or whatever, and so you can actually get it to be very very specific, and you can slowly speed it up, and of course practicing with the metronome and all that stuff. But yeah, to try to transcribe the way that you're talking about, that takes a whole nother skill set, learning how to slow down the record, and then hearing the notes so low that you have to transpose it down. I don't know what the speed differential is and how much further down it would go. But would it be the same note but octaves lower, or would it be octaves and so many notes off?
Like 2 octaves lower, actually.
Wow.
No, hombre.
So it was
Yeah, it
1/4
was
speed? Is that what it was then?
something like that.
Yeah, because half speed would make 1 octave down, and then a half of a half would be
Yeah, a
one
quarter.
quarter speed. Yeah, it'd be 1/4 speed. It'd be 25%. Yeah. Okay. Man,
Way
that's
down
yeah.
there.
And I actually slow things down that slow to like if it's something really fast, you know what I mean, like a really fast lick or whatever. But I can still hear it in the right pitch, man. I don't know what I would do if I would hear it and it'd be like, just
Yeah,
like
man.
several octaves down. We got a message right here. It says, "I followed Julian and the Breed since the Power Drive album." Got me hooked into Tejano. Same influences: Chicago, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Julian is one of the keyboardists that got me to like Tejano, and that's coming from Hector Gutierrez.
Oh, wow. Yeah, thanks, Hector. That's cool, man. Power Drive, yeah, what songs were there? Golly, I can't. Nuestras Vidas, I guess. Yeah, that album, man. We'd go into the studio, and Manny Guerra was the engineer and producer, and he would just say, "Hey, man, just start something," And it was, I don't know, it was just crazy how we used to do things back then, man. Nobody had an arrangement, when we go to the studio.
Okay, so I'm looking it up here. Que chulos ojos, malagueña, El Cisne, Mil Botellas. Man, there's a lot of good songs on there. Carta de Amor, Hay que saber perder, Cuando te vayas, El Vicio, Dance to My Mambo, and Es tan difícil.
Yes, es tan difícil. Compadre Steve Velasquez arranged that, man. It's crazy, man. Hijo. It's it starts like para 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 ra, ra, ram.
Mm-hmm.
There's jazz. Para, para, ra, para, para, bari, 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 barura. It's like then pa baru baru ba biru bera bu barura.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Crazy, man.
There was a lot of heavy arrangements, a lot of great tunes on there. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any reviews on this or what people have to say about it. But no, and let's see. And of course, that's the original "Que Chulos Ojos" that starts with the vocal part, as opposed to the rendition that got remade in the '80s, right? With the lead guitar and stuff. But
that was on Breaking the Rules.
Breaking the Rules, yeah. That was with Joel
Yeah.
and Gilbert and those guys,
Yeah.
right?
And I think Gilbert mentioned this past week that Jerry Quintero also had participated in which one was it? I guess it was Que Chulos Ojos that he had played it. And Joel did No Naciste, you know. Ta-da, pa-pa-da-da,
Yep.
pa-pa-da-da. Yeah, and there's some good stuff that Joel arranged. Well, that medley, that reunion medley,
Mm-hmm.
that starts with
Yeah,
that string part,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then ba-da, 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 and then ba-da, 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 ba. And then the next one is ba-da-da, la madera, ba-ba-da, ba-da, ba-da.
Oh, there
Anyway,
was
they
yeah, there was Yo vendo los ojos negros. So yeah, so
what was
that one's
that one?
on. Yeah. And then also that pa pa da pa dum pa pa da pa dum pa pa da pa dum, that was from that's another song that that they used
That
that
was
intro.
an instrumental, right?
No, I mean, well, yeah, the polka is,
Oh,
but
yeah,
before that, that
you're
pa
right.
pa
You're
da
right.
pa dum
Yeah,
pa pa da pa dum, and I
yeah,
remember because
yeah.
um,
Da-da-da-da-da-da,
da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da,
yeah,
with the
then
saxes, da-da-da, ba-ba-da, bum, bum, bum.
Beat 'em.
Yeah. What's the name of
That
that song? Were you part
me
of that?
aventaron. No, they didn't even have a keyboard in that song.
Oh, I
It
thought
was
there was
just
organ or something, but maybe I was wrong.
no, it was just guitar and bass and drums.
Mm-hmm.
That was that Return of the Latin Breed album.
Okay. What was the name
That's
of
when
that
they all
song?
Me aventaron tus
Yep.
brazos.
Yeah, there you go. Me aventaron tus brazos. You know what?
Yeah.
A long time ago, and the only reason I remember it is because I had a client of mine who wanted to do karaoke to that song, and they wanted me to make a MIDI sequence of it. And so when I was
Wow.
at, I heard that ba ba da da da. I was like, oh, that's cool. I know where that comes from now. Yeah, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. So you were with Modest for a long time too, right? Were you
Yeah,
around? Were you
yeah,
there around the time of like Fíjate and all those really big hits? And
yeah,
okay,
yep,
did
pretty
you
much.
participate in a lot of that studio stuff, or were you just primarily on the road?
No, it was Martin Garcia. He
Oh
was the
yeah,
keyboard player for Ram Herrera,
yep,
and him and the guitar player Dimas Garcia, I guess his last name,
yeah. Dimas,
uh,
Dimas Garcia,
and Henry Galvan on bass,
yeah.
and on drums was Javier Portillo. We call him Weasel,
Oh okay.
and they did all that studio work for Modest, man. Real
Mhm.
nice stuff, though, man. I mean,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
and then we just would learn the songs and go play live. You know,
Mhm.
it was crazy back then. The only album that I or CD that I did with David Modest was on for the Ana Gabriel song. Dee-dee-dee-da-da-dee-da-dee-da-da.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Da-da.
yeah. Demasiado tarde.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that I recorded with David.
Oh, that's
And then
cool.
there was, yeah, and we just went in there. We had practiced it, and then and just went to the studio and did it like the first take.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
okay, that's good enough.
Yeah, and so the David Mares version came out first before the Ruben Ramos one, right? Because I think Ruben Ramos recorded it too, almost identically.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
cool. It says we got a shout out here from Mr. Reyes74. It says just want to say what's up, dogs. So what's up going out to Mr. Reyes74. Thank you very much for joining us here. And remember, if anybody has any questions, be sure to submit them. And if you guys are watching this after the live interview has happened and you guys want to send us some questions, I'll try to get the questions to Julian, and then we'll try to respond down in the comments below later on as they come in. But But anyways, so what were some of the albums what were some of your favorite albums that you got to participate on?
Uh, like David said, the first one.
The first one.
With the breed. It was called -1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Rudy Guerra was fixing to leave the band. He was the leader of the band.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that album cover?
Yeah, the Rudy Guerra. Or
He's on the T. He's on the T, and he's like going up.
Oh,
because he's a preacher.
yeah. Okay.
He's leaving the.
So.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I used to like that song. Una ranchera was called "A Mi Manera."
Oh yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Ba da 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 da. Ba da da da. Or what? It's an A. Da 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 da.
It was at
B flat.
It was in B flat.
Okay. Ba da 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 da. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that. Then it had that or augmented, right? Or no, it is diminished.
Diminished. Let me see. The guitar pro.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Then,
so the trombone.
And then O'Donnell did that screech.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Estaba loca. And then where did it go? It was a diminished, I remember. Yeah, it was diminished. It was real weird. Because I remember I was playing the B3, and I was playing like. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. But see, but I was playing an open chord, Roland.
Oh yeah, so you're
like
open voicing, like kind of like a
like the guitar,
like that.
Guitar.
Let's
The
see.
guitar.
Yeah.
It starts with like, okay, let's say a C sharp, G, and a B flat E.
And then you would just arpeggiate up. You'd be like, let's see here. Let's see. Oh yeah, C sharp. And then yeah. So. Yeah.
It's neat to play that open. I memorized it because I told compadre, hey man, give me the notes, right? So that's the fingering on the guitar, right? You know what I mean? It's open big time, and I used to practice it, like. Look like a spider, going this like a spider.
Yeah, and then
I love to move around on the keyboard, just playing patterns. That's how I spend my time when I practice. That's all I do. As far as learning songs, once in a while I will, but and then solos like you said of Charlie Parker. Oh yeah, that Cherokee. Oh my God, that is crazy, man.
Yeah. Then don't they go like
Bad.
what are the key change?
It goes to B to B.
Yeah, it goes
Going.
or yeah B. Where it goes no. Yeah, it goes.
It goes C sharp minor to F
Oh,
sharp
there you go. That's what
7.
it. And then it goes. And then it goes. And then. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. What was it? B and then yeah.
On the solo, he goes. And then
There's a lick from the beginning of that solo that I still use all the time. It goes. And maybe I don't use it that often because I don't remember. I used to use it a lot. Let's see.
There you go.
There it is. Yeah.
How does it go?
There it is.
Puro bebop.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna be playing solos and I'm gonna throw that in there. And you know what? That's not even. It's the song's in B flat, but that's not a B flat lick. That's like a 2/5 to E flat, right? Because he's going and then it goes
Resolve, to E flat. Right.
Yeah.
There
So,
you go. Yeah, that's it.
And you see, there it is now. No, it's not. I lied. I thought I had it, but I don't. Or yeah, whatever. But ba-ba-doo, ba-ba-doo, ba-ba-doo. Yeah, ba-ba-doo, ba-ba-doo, ba-ba-doo.
Yeah, you go.
Or ba-ba-da-da-da. I forgot what it was. It's been so long, but I was studying that for a while.
He goes like this, rolling away.
Yeah. Yeah. That raise that E that raise man, I need to practice again. Charlie Parker had some really good lines, man.
The reason I remember it because I had been practicing. I would learn it and then I would forget about it, and then when it come back, I was like, oh hell, I have to learn it again, because I would forget it.
So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I like that bridge. He does top high right there, right?
Yeah, because it was going, but the other bridge that you're playing, I'm not even gonna attempt to play it, but it was that. Yeah, but anyways, we have a question. We finally got a question here. Juan Cortez says, Julian, I was wondering what new keyboards you play nowadays, or do you still prefer the older keyboards with classic sounds?
Well, I still use that X3, man. I've had it for 25 years already. And then I have a DX2 FD, which it's got that little bellish sound.
Yeah,
but
it's like it's the predecessor to the original DX7, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
So,
then I have a module that's a Kurzweil or
yep,
something like that,
Kurzweil. Yep.
and it's got strings and piano, brass, organ, and you know. But I use it. I layer the DX7 with the module to have electric piano with strings in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much, it's real basic. And then the X3 for the organ and other bell
Brass.
sounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some brass. Yeah, there you go.
So,
Yeah.
I want to, if I could, shamefully plug here for a second. Juan Cortez, this is a question that comes up a lot, and we've been talking about like sounds on here, besides, theory and all this other stuff, right? But the aesthetic of Tejano music is that it has a certain sound to it. And when we had Gilbert on, when we were, Velasquez, when we were talking about Jerry de la Rosa, one thing that he was talking about is like, hey, when you listen to country music, you expect to hear steel guitar and fiddle, and those sounds resonate a certain way with with the music, and in Tejano music, there's a certain, its golden age was kind of late 80s, early 90s, or maybe even mid 90s, whatever. So like everything from the Korg Triton and before, or Roland the JV series and the D50 and everything before, and the Yamaha motif and before, like those are really where all the meat and potatoes of the keyboard sounds are going to be. And so the shameless plug is here, is that if you guys want to hear those sounds, we have programmed them into one library that you can purchase from us to help support the channel, so we can continue to do things like this. It helps pay for the website and, to keep the lights on and all that stuff. But we have stuff from, all the classic keyboards, Yamaha DX7, Roland D50, Korg M1, O1W, all that great stuff, though. The Ensoniq keyboards, what was that?
Oberheim.
We need, you know what? Maybe for version 2, we're hoping to get some Oberheim stuff on there, because you're absolutely right. Those sounds were the ones that were being used at that time. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, and we had another question right here. John Ortiz said, "Didn't you use that as an intro with David Mattis?" I'm wondering if he's talking about Cherokee, or if he's talking about maybe one of the other jazz tunes that we were.
Maybe la de Ana Gabriel, that bell sound or something.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
I think that was the M1.
Yeah, that's a good tune, man. So we also have right here a shout out from Robert Serna, who says, "Hello, Julian, Seguin's baddest keyboardist, a true legend." So thank you, Robert, for joining us. Thank you for all the kind words. I'm thanking you on his behalf. I guess I'll let him say whatever. So
thanks so much, Robert. Yes, sir.
And
Viva Seguin.
I know, Viva Seguin. But not on the keyboard, right? And that one has to be done on the accordion. I saw a meme on Facebook a while ago that says, it was a picture of a guy making a face, kind of like in disgust, like, similar to like that, and then the words around it said, "Why is he playing Viva Seguin on the keyboard?" And so I guess some people frown upon polkas on the keyboard, although we were talking about maybe doing a polka out of giant steps, which would be very cool. This says he says this is Bobby T-Bone Serna with my own band La Música Live Variety. Hope you can jam a few songs with us soon. God bless.
From Seguin?
Yep. Right. I think from Seguin. Bobby T-Bone Serna.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
he plays keyboards and I think accordion as well.
Oh, right on.
I
cool.
haven't seen him in a while, but yeah, I think he's from here. Yeah.
Do you play any other instruments besides keyboards? Do you dabble in any accordion or anything like that?
I have I have a piano accordion that I
Mm.
bought at the pawn shop. It's got a pretty good sound, but it's just there, I'll mess with it, but you know, that's
That's a different onda, right?
yeah, big time, man. It's. I mean,
Mm.
I would love to, play it
Mhm.
someday, but you got your day gig, and it's
Mhm.
kind of rough. Make
Yeah,
time.
back in this corner back here on top, you see there's a piano accordion. That piano accordion used to belong to my dad, and then underneath
Uh,
it are all my diatonic ones. That one shelf is missing because I didn't put my toys away. There's a spot right there for that accordion, which is somewhere over here. I actually have more accordions than I have spaces over there. So I also have another like a Dino Buffetti piano accordion through here too.
so, Roland, where that's a studio where you're interviewing from?
Yes, this is well. It's my home studio, but yes, there's a drum kit back. Well, let's see. There's a drum kit
Yeah,
back there, and
yeah, yeah.
there's an upright bass in that corner, and over here there's all sorts of guitars and mariachi instruments too. Because I play mariachi. There's like a guitar. There's a
Wow.
couple guitarrones downstairs, and all my console stuff is on that side of that wall. And there's a yeah, and then so, but I'm actually in like the performance area. I shouldn't say a wall. It's like a boundary, right? There's not like a separation. It's not like there's glass or anything there, but yeah,
Nice.
there's computers and stuff over there and a rack full of gear. I mean, well, not full of gear, but for what I need to do, I guess. So,
Mhm.
and
Nice.
so you were actually we were supposed to do this interview last week, but you were
Right.
busy recording in the studio, right? You want to talk a little bit about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, we're with Latin Breed doing a CD for ¿cómo se dice? Just for
Yeah,
to
for
make sales
yeah,
at
yeah,
the
for
license.
merchandise purposes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Pretty much that at Gilbert Velasquez Studio. Shout out to Gilbert.
Oh
and
yeah.
all the guys in the band. I'll tell them about this interview and see if they can book. When will this come out, Roland?
We're live right now. People are watching it as we're talking. So
Mhm.
so
But-
if
but-
we say anything incriminating, there's no way to edit it. No, it's live right now, and then it'll be on YouTube for until Google disbands, or I don't know, until YouTube it ceases to exist. You know what I mean? Let's just say hypothetically forever, right? So they say that once something's on the internet, that it's out there forever. So what we're speaking it into existence, and it's gonna last forever. But starting from this second on, everybody's hearing what we're saying. It is live, with maybe like a few second buffer of whatever. But yeah. So all the shout outs that are coming in and everything. Robert Serna says, yes, Seguin, Texas. He goes, I used to play with Tony Guerrero y La Sombra. And yes, I'm from Seguin. I play keyboards, drums, piano, accordion. My dad was the comedian Rudy Serna, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tony Guerrero and those guys are Midwestern boys from over here. That's
Mhm.
it's kind of cool that they being from out here were able to make an impact down there on Tejano music. So that's cool.
Roland,
Mhm.
have you spoke to Brando Mireles?
I got some contact information on him, but if you could put the plug in for me, that would be good, because I would love to interview him now, especially he's probably going to be super busy now that he's playing with Joe now, and I don't know if he's up to doing an interview, but I would love to have him on here because, again, like yourself and many other keyboard players that I've talked to, I've looked up to all you guys since I was a real young kid, you know what I mean? Like I was, people thought I was weird because I wasn't into sports or because I wasn't into, whatever all the other kids were into, but I loved music and I wanted to play music, and so I would
Sure.
study all the albums and recordings and read all the the credits and stuff. So of course, names like yours and Brando's and Joe Reveles, all those guys, they would pop up. So yes, of course, I would love to have them on here. So yeah, if you could get in the good word for me, that would be great, because I would love to have them on here as well.
I saw Joe Reveles this past Saturday. We played at a outdoor venue in San Antonio at Rosedale Park. and
Okay.
he happened to he went by there, and we played with La 45.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
John Ontiveros and those guys. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, uh,
Mike Torres. Yep.
Mike. Right, right.
Hmm.
And they have Herbie Lopez.
Oh
He
yeah, playing
plays.
piano and keyboards.
He,
Yeah, or piano, accordion, and keyboards. Yeah.
right, right. Yeah, he got up and jammed with us on the accordion.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Herbie, we go way back, man. I remember when he was playing with Bernal.
Hmm.
Yeah, back in I guess it was like around 71 that I remember him. Yeah, I was like 17 years old back then. Well, that was what, 50 years ago? Yeah, 50
I,
years.
I don't remember anything past 1983 because I wasn't born yet. So
Eight. What year were you born?
I was born in '83. So I'm
Dang.
37. I'll be 38 this year in December.
Oh wow,
but
man.
but I tell
30.
you, I have an old soul, man.
Yes,
Even
sir.
when it came to Tejano music, like even when it was in its
Wow.
golden age, everybody was listening to Mas and La Mafia and La Sombra and stuff like that, which I did too. I listened to a lot of that, but
Mhm.
man, I was really into Latin Breed and Esteban Jordan and Bernal
Oh yeah.
Chachos and stuff like that. It was just, to me, it seemed like it was a bit more. I didn't know at the time that it was progressive, but something about that style just kind of really resonated with me. We got a shout out from Christopher Ortega. It says, "Hello guys. Tell Mr. Carrillo that I went and bought a Rhodes when I heard him on the USA album. The solo on If You Need Me is killer."
Oh, hey, Roland. Let me clear something up. On "If You Need Me,"
Uh-huh.
it was Joe Gallardo that did that solo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So, Christopher, there you go.
he
It
yeah,
was
he
Mr.
did the
Guerrero.
strings. Yeah, they got him in there. Manny Guerra, he was producing that, and that's when Jimmy left Latin Breed shortly after that,
Mm-hmm.
and also Joe Gallardo did the strings on Memories.
Mm-hmm.
Da, 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 with the steel guitar, and
Mm-hmm.
and Joe pretty much did the filling on the electric piano as well. That's why it sounds so badass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Joe was a
But that's
bad
interesting, you know what I mean? Being
kid.
in the studio and being around so many like musicians, that certain musicians have certain feels, and collaborating like that, you know what I mean, where it's and the main thing too is the lack of ego, right? Because I know that some people can kind of get bent out of shape, or when they're like, hey, I know you're in the band, but we're not going to use you for this, we're going to use you for that, we're going to use this other guy for that. But it's
Mhm.
just the business, you know what I mean? A lot of
Yeah.
times, it's like everybody, it's like a puzzle, everybody is the right piece for the right task, you know what I mean? And so yeah, that's
Going
interesting that.
going going back to we were watching Selena's that Netflix,
Yes.
uh, and when in the process that they weren't going to be using the band
Los
anymore because
Dinos,
she was
right?
crossing over, man, to the big time,
Mm-hmm.
and that was kind of sad, but hey, like you say, it's business, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and not to go off on a tangent here, but I really think, and I saw a lot of people kind of disagreeing with my opinion, but I really did enjoy the Selena Netflix series. People were saying about the acting, and it was a little cheesy or whatever, but to me it was like, what other opportunity are we gonna get our people to be in front of the masses like that ever again? You know what I mean? And the fact that
Yeah.
the movie, I felt like, was more centered around like Cumbia Selena, right? The movie, the original one with Jennifer Lopez, like they just like,
Yeah.
she was little and then they skipped a whole bunch of stuff and then she was already a star, And in the Netflix series, I felt like really like concentrated. It like, I mean, and again, not to like go off on a tangent here with this interview or whatever, but I do have to
Right.
say that when I first heard them playing Dame un beso, like it brought like almost tears to my eyes, just like because it was
Oh
like a
yeah.
ranchera, like it was a ranchera. That is Tejano music, and you hear that. And I
Hmm.
mean, granted, I mean, I'm not gonna say that I didn't like Selena's music, but I have a better appreciation for it now. When I was younger, of course, I liked Mas and Latin Breed and all that stuff, right?
Right.
But I mean, to see, I mean, that's our culture. Like for it to be on screen like that is
Oh yeah.
just, it's wild, man. It really did. It just kind of like made me feel significant, even though it had nothing to do with me. I didn't know Selena. I didn't, I never got to meet her or whatever, right? I don't know any of the Quintanillas. I have no attachment to that other than the fact that we share the same genre of music, and
Yes, sir. Yeah,
it just
you're right.
resonated with my heart and my soul. It just felt like I don't know how to
Hmm.
explain it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Because
So.
that. Yeah. Because I mean, it. She was one of us. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, absolutely.
Selena.
Yeah.
She never acted like she was too good for. Nuh-uh. She was humble as could be, man. Well, that's it's sad that that's probably why she her fate was just that. I mean,
Hmm.
she trusted that lady, and golly, she should have had somebody with her, right? But
Hmm.
that's just how they say it was meant to be, and
Yeah, that's just
wow,
how things go.
sad. Yeah, yeah,
And but
yeah.
I hope that with that series, that kind of revives an interest in our genre and our music, and I kind of feel like it has been. I think I see that a lot of these radio stations, like KLMO and stuff, they're giving more opportunities to like different artists now. You know what I mean? Instead of and no disrespect to KXDN or anybody like that, but or the stations that play the same format, where they're playing, the golden age Tejano, right? But like even to pay homage to the past, like play some of the older stuff, play some of the older Little Joe, some of the older Latin Breed stuff, like sneak in a song every hour that's kind of like a classic, you know what I mean, and then go back to your regular,
Yeah.
and then maybe sneak in one for a new artist, because you know when radio stations, I feel like, are just kind of like centering on this one demographic of like late 80s early 90s Tejano, and you forget about the past, then nobody knows how to bridge over from that to the new, especially if you're not going to give a space to the new. But that
Hmm.
being said, okay, there's I've been also getting an increase in students that are wanting to learn not just keyboard but guitar, just harmony theory and stuff like that. So my question to you then is, what's your advice to musicians who are starting to kind of dabble into Tejano music, or how do musicians, how can they get interested in Tejano music? What are your opinions on that? How to get started playing Tejano music? What do you suggest?
Uh, that's a good question. Well, you know, I for one, when I was in junior high, like I said, I started on the drums, and I wanted to be a pop drummer, pop
Mm-hmm.
rock drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, Tejano just caught my ear, man, and it was just weird. But I don't know, it's something. Well, if you're interested, just go at it, and just try to learn, from what everybody, all bands, and and go back, like you say, to the old. I mean, I hear stuff from Little Joe way back when I was, I mean, just 12 years old, man, and I could still feel that, that soul that the music's got, man. It's weird, it's real powerful, actually. I
Absolutely.
mean, yeah, man, it's I don't know, it
So in a lot
changed.
of ways, do you think that and not in a disrespectful way towards anybody, right? But do you feel that today's Tejano music lacks that same soul, or do you think it's still there? It's just that there's other factors that play into the decline in popularity, or what, or you know. Do you think it's
Well,
do you think it's music related? Do you think that there's a lack of soul in new music, or do you think it's just other things?
well, probably one that they don't have many, you know, Tejano radio stations anymore to where they could, you know, it's just so different now. It's kind of sad, but you know,
Mhm.
mm, it's kind of weird that. Well, no, I mean, the music that's out there. I mean, they have their soul. I mean, it's good, but the old stuff. I mean, you don't hear nobody try to try to imitate it, man. I mean,
Mhm.
there's no way. It'd
Yeah,
be cool. Yeah.
I think like 45 is kind of trying to do that, man, where they're trying to be more jazz, more progressive, more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for them being, a younger generation, I think that they're
Sure.
doing a pretty good job of like
Yeah,
trying to
they are.
trying to
They
bring
are.
back that style. You know what I mean? But
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a shout
They're
out right
good.
here from Andy Diaz. He says hi. So hello
Uh,
to Andy Diaz, and also Robert again. Robert Serna, who said he was born in '79. I think that's back when we were talking about
yeah,
yeah, what years everybody was born and everything. He said he was born in Houston, Texas, but he does live in Seguin. So
yeah.
that's awesome.
Right.
So these days, what you guys are back on the road again, the Latin Breed. You guys playing somewhat regularly again, or what's the status? I know COVID kind of like caused
Oh
a
yeah.
big pause for everybody. How are things on the gig front? Are you guys rocking and rolling full time again, or what's the status of that?
I have one gig next month on the 25th of June, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be at that by the Market Square downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're having fiesta kind of late this year in San Antonio
Oh,
due to
okay.
the COVID.
Yep.
And then another gig at that same park we were at last Saturday
At
in
Rosedale.
July,
Mm-hmm.
Rosedale Park. And unless something pops up that between now and then, but that's pretty much what we got in the books right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And trying to finish that CD.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 that's all. That's always important too, to have merchandise. So, people want to feel like when they leave the event that they have something that they can take with them, some kind of memorabilia of some sort. There's only so many shirts you can wear, and
right.
it gets worn out and stuff. But like music is kind of timeless. But the sad thing is, and I was just talking about this today on social media, was the fact that we're living in an age where music is virtually free everywhere you go. Like you can go on YouTube and listen to stuff, and you can pay a subscription to Spotify or iTunes or whatever, or Apple Music. I forgot it's called Apple Music now. But anyways,
Uh,
and so it kind of takes away the incentive for people to actually purchase the music. It's like, well, why am I going to buy the person's music when I can listen to it for free on YouTube or whatever? And I want to really encourage people to rethink the whole business model, right? Like, of course, just because something is free doesn't mean that you shouldn't participate in it, because in reality, you know, one of the patriotic things that we do in this country talk about is like helping out small business mom and pop shops. Well, a lot of bands, what they really are small businesses. So if you can contribute by buying somebody's single for 99 cents, or if you can buy their album, even if it's in digital format for $10, $15, $5, whatever, buy the album, spend the money and help out the artist, because oftentimes it costs thousands of dollars to create an album or even a song. You can spend up to $1,000 on a song, and then when it's all said and done, if everybody listens to it for free, you can't even recoup that money. So why do people spend money on studio time when nobody's going to buy the music? We do this because we love it too, but at the same time, it's hard to be able to make it sustainable if there's no income coming in. Money doesn't grow on trees, and neither does studio time. And so one thing that I've always told people is like, you can spend 20, 30, 40, $50 going out to dinner and drinks and whatever, and it lasts a night, and all you have is a memory that you'll forget in a week. But spend $15 on an album, and that album, if you take care of it, will last a lifetime. And it'll be memories that you can it'll be something tangible that you can have until you're long gone, right? And so I encourage people, even if it's digital format or if it's a hard copy, whether it's a CD, a LP, whatever, support music if you want it to stick around, I think. And sorry about getting up on my whole soapbox there and kind of preaching at people about that whole thing, but I think it's something that's important. Well, obviously we're talking about it. The Latin Breed is looking at selling merchandise at their shows, and if people don't buy the merchandise, then why spend time on studio time? But obviously, there, like you were saying, there's a demand for it, right? You were saying.
Yep. Yeah, people, like you say, want some memorabilia, so right off the bat, they're like, hey, you got any CDs, for sale? And I'm sure about other bands do the same. I'm sure they, you get them made and stuff and try to make some money.
There you go. Yeah. Well, Julian, we've been talking here for about an hour and 15. I want to thank you for your time. This was great talking to you. I'm so glad we finally were able to do this. It took us a while to make it happen, pero gracias a Dios, y se hizo, ¿verdad? Se hizo. Yep. And I don't want to just rush you off the air here. I want to open this up to you. If there's anything that you kind of want to tell the people about it, anything that we kind of skipped over, anything that you want to mention, if there's anything that, if you want to stay in contact with you. I don't know. I don't think you're on social media, right? No. Okay. So, just if they want to check out the Latin Breed or something like that, how they get a hold of the band or anything like that, any kind of plugs that you want to do. And
I guess, Latin Breed, they have a Facebook page, I guess,
which is how I got a hold of you.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know who really does all that stuff, to be honest with you, for the band. But the owner is Charlie Rodriguez out of Fort Worth. Yeah, and Joe Chapa is the guy that handles the merchandising, and he helps book the band as well. And shout out to them, and again to the band members. And my buddies out at my day gig. Yeah, I work in New Braunfels,
Right.
And going on 25 years with that trucking company, like a handyman job. Pretty easy, thank God. Yeah, so, but no, Roland, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And hello to all my colleague keyboard players. And Jerry Quintero is another guy that you gotta interview as well. Joe Reveles, Brando. Hector? You did one with Hector, right? Gutierrez?
Yeah, Hector Gutierrez. Yeah, we had one scheduled with Joe Reveles, but at the last minute he had something that came up and we never rescheduled. So I do need to reach out to him again to see if we can get him on.
I've got his number. Maybe I'll give him a call and see if he can.
Hook, Yeah, for sure. Any kind of connections that you could do for the show, man, I would greatly appreciate it. You know what I mean? We just, it's just conversation like this. We end up talking about certain things. I didn't know what we were going to talk about, and we rarely ever do. We don't ever have a script. We just kind of, as musicians, this is kind of like, this reminds me a lot of our phone conversations that we've had leading up to this. It's just like, hey, Roland, what do you think of this? Or, hey, have you heard the solo to that? Or, hey, and we get to thinking, and, we were both over here trying to play, little fragments of Charlie Parker or whatever. But, I mean, it was a blast. I really enjoyed having you on. I really thank you for your time. And shout out to your IT tech there, your wife, right, who helped you get on.
Yeah.
We started a little
Right.
late, but we were having some technical issues, and we made it happen. We made it happen. So
Thank you so much, brother.
oh, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
And okay, so guys, I don't know who we're having next, and I don't know when the next one is. Maybe at the end of next month. We'll see. I'm kind of hectic again. I know that the Tejano Keyboard YouTube channel / website went dark for several years before COVID, and now it's like reemerged with all this, all this stuff and the technology. Of course, I'm going to plug one more time. If you guys are interested or haven't heard it yet, be sure to check out the Tejano Keyboard Music Creator Library, which is a virtual instrument VST with all the classic sounds of all the classic keyboards that they used in Tejano music. A lot of the favorite patches, from all the famous recordings of back in the day. And there's also drum loops in the style of the San Antonio sound, the Valley sound, the conjunto stuff, norteño stuff, bajo sextos, accordions, guitars, saxophones. There's even sampled brass from La 45, Jan Ontiveros and those guys did a lot of horn samples for us. So we want to thank everybody who participated on it. My colleague Jesus Herrera, who's the bass player for Ruben Ramos, who helped me do some of the sampling and stuff. He did some of the bass stuff on there too and all that stuff. So
Wow.
I want to thank everybody who's supporting that. So be on the lookout, and we'll let you guys know when the next interview is. Julian, if you'd like to play us off the air, you're more than welcome to. Go ahead and play something, and we'll sign off here in a little bit, okay? We'll see you guys next time.
That's Chucho Valdez, man.
Yeah.
Hot stuff, man. God almighty.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
stuff. Thank you very much, Julian. If you want to stand by, you can stick around here for a second. The rest of you guys, peace out. We'll see you guys next time.